Another week here inside the Bears Den, and we're glad to have you with us. A.A. Moore, I'm with the coach, Sam Shade. And, Coach, another big week. You had something in front of you, Senior Day. You had a chance to wrap up a spot in the SIAC championship game, and your guys came together and were able to do all the things they needed to do to accomplish all that you've been looking to accomplish, at least for this week.
Right. There was a lot on the line, obviously, with Senior Day, but also having a chance to put ourselves in the championship game. That was big for us. And my hat goes off to Morehouse because they came out, they made something happen. They jumped out on us 3-0, but I'm really happy with the way our team responded after that and held those guys off the scoreboard. But we felt pretty good going into halftime, 34-3, and we come out the second half and like I said, my hat goes off to Morehouse. Much respect to them and Coach Mathers. They kept fighting. They held us to 3 points in the second half. So we still got a lot of work to do.
Well, 37-3 was the final, and we're going to take a break. And when we come back, we're going to start breaking down this big Senior Day victory that puts Miles back in the SIAC championship game for the first time since 2021. You're watching Inside the Bears Den with Coach Sam Shade. Back inside the Bears Den with Coach Sam Shade. I'm A.A. Moore. And, Coach, before we get to the football part of the game, let's talk a little bit about Senior Day. That's an important day on the calendar. It's the last time during the regular season that your seniors get to play on this field, Sloan Alumni Stadium, and, you know, they get to bring their family out and they all get recognized. Talk about the importance of Senior Day. How was it for you?
It's always very important to me. Each and every year, each senior class is special. And you think about the hard work that these guys have put in, the sacrifices they've made over 4 or 5 years, right out here on this field. I think about January, February, we're out here doing morning workouts. It's cold. We're out here early. Everybody else is asleep. So those guys put so much into it. And when we get a chance to honor those guys with Senior Day, it's huge. And one of the things that I try to do going into each and every Senior Day, during the week, I let each senior, we had 19 seniors that we honored today, and I let each of those guys talk about their experience right here at Miles College, on and off the field. And then also I get those guys leave some words of wisdom, give some advice for the young guys. And it's really special to hear what those guys have to say about the great experience they had here at Miles, on and off the field. And then some of the advice, I'll just keep it real. I had one player when I first got here, I put him off the team for some stuff, and he got up, but I brought him back a year later, and he got up and he spoke, and he talked about that situation, and I think a lot of guys learn from that. So, love all those guys, and I'm glad we were able to send them out with a win.
We got a chance to talk to one of those seniors, Jason Stovall. This is what he had to say about why Senior Day was important to him. Jason Stovall, one of our outstanding offensive linemen and a senior. This is your last regular season home game with the Golden Bears, and it's been a ride. You've been here a little while. Talk about the journey that started. You started with a opportunity at a championship. You've been here through COVID, and now you're about to get another one. How special was it today to be able to end, at least in the regular season, on this note?
To end the regular season on this note, to be more specific, I'm really not happy for myself. It's really the younger guys I'm happy for because I want to bring them in how I came in. I came in winning the championship my freshman year, and, they're actually real talented young guys, so I really want to give them the same experience I had and live up to the same standards that was set when I came in.
And talk about laying that kind of foundation, though, because it's hard. There's things that you've been through, like I was just mentioning. There's been a coaching change. There have been some lows in this program, and here you are a couple years after the coaching change, and now you're back at top. Did you think it was going to turn around that quick?
Honestly, I did think it was going to turn around that quick because what most people don't understand, we have a great coaching staff. Most guys played in the league. If they didn't play in the league, they played D1 college football, most likely at Alabama, right around the corner. So it's like I never lost faith. It's just that 1-9 season, it was just a fluke. just to be honest, look back on it, was a fluke. It wasn't supposed to happen. I'm part of the reason why it happened, so now I have to take accountability and bring it back to what it was. So, yeah, I'm not surprised at all. This is how it turned out.
And Coach Shade and this staff, they talk about the work of the offensive line. Another 177 on the ground, getting nearly 5 a pop. You're able to keep your quarterback upright. What's the mindset of the line as you enter ball games? You know, is it numbers-wise? What are you looking to accomplish each week?
I always look to accomplish execution, because half of football is just executing a play. Physicality, all that mental stuff, that's going to come as you play. But if you don't execute every play, it don't matter. And the O-line, my left tackle, Twami, he's been here a long time too, started as a freshman. Everybody else just bought in when they came in. Nobody had beef with nobody. I make sure by being the older guy that I'm a hand to lean on. If they don't know something, I tell them. Twami tell them. So it's really just a brotherhood as O-line, like it should be.
The O-line certainly executed today. Again, 177 on the ground, nearly 400 yards of total offense, and 37 points on the board. Big win. You're playing in the championship game. That's got to feel good, huh?
Feel great.
Well, thanks for joining us, Jason Stovall.
All right, thank you for having me.
Stovall is one of your senior leaders for sure, and he's been through a lot, and he's seen the highs and lows of what's happened around here. So I'm sure for you, it's great to see guys like that be able to tell his story.
Well, Jason's one of those guys. He was a fifth-year guy, and he had to make a decision whether he wanted to come back, and we really wanted him to come back, obviously, because of the leadership and the way that he plays. And he's like a coach on the field. His father's a coach over in Atlanta, Southwest DeKalb High School, great program. And that's what he's going to end up doing. He's going to end up coaching, but just so thankful that he decided to come back and the leadership he's given us over these last few years.
Well, you come out and everyone's expecting the Slaughterhouse to come. Morehouse, only one win on the season, new coaching staff, and we talked about it last week, how tough it can be for new coaches to come in. You went through that, and yet they come out on the field, they make a play on defense. What happened on that pass that set up the Morehouse score?
Well, that was early in the game, and I thought Cam could have put a little more air on the ball. He tried to, kind of zip it in there, and one of their guys got his hand on it, knocked it up, and they get the interception.
But your defense came right out and said, there's not going to be a lot of room for you today, Maroon Tigers, and a couple backwards plays and sets up the field goal, and they score, but it kind of set the tone for what was going to happen here today. And just talk about your defense and the way it has risen to the occasion each and every week.
Well, first off, I don't think our coaching staff gets enough credit. Our defensive coordinator, Coach Schellin, Coach Langham, our defensive back coach, Coach McKinnon, who we'll have on the show later. Our linebacker coach does a great job, and also Coach Eric Phillips, one of the newest guys on our defensive staff, coaching D-line. Those guys put a lot of time into it during the season. There are no off days for coaches during the football season, unless it's a bye week. But if it's game week, it's 7 days a week, and those guys, they really put a lot into it. So I'm thankful to have those guys on staff. But our players have really bought in, and they're trusting the coaching staff, and they're trying to do their job, so to speak. Because that's all we ask is do your job. You don't have to be Superman, and our guys are doing that.
Well, you get to hold them to the 3 points. Your offense gets out on the field, and it's right back to work. And talk a little bit. You had some injuries, and now the injuries are starting to hit in your wide receiver core. So you had to go out and make some changes along the starters. No Jay Andrews this week. No Travante Abner at the tight end position. And so now you've got some new guys coming in trying to fill big roles.
Right. No Jalen Peterson at the wide receiver position. So our mentality all season has been a next man up mentality. Really, from the time I've gotten here, our guys understand that, be ready when your number's called. Learn how to work while you wait. That's a big thing with me. And I coach everybody. We coach every guy, not just the starters. If you're the third, fourth string guy, look, I'm telling you 2 plays away. So we're going to coach the crap out of you and, get you ready.
Well, go down the field. Miles is in the end zone. It's Cam Ivory. He finds Frank Pierre, and his connections today, they were, he was throwing to the open guys, throwing to open spots. It just looked like everything was really clicking on all cylinders. Talk a little bit about that Frank Pierre touchdown pass.
Well, proud of Cam because, he gets the ball batted and gives up that first interception. But he came back. He bounced back, and the touchdown throw to Frank Pierre. We just felt really good about the coverage. We felt like our guy could beat their guy on that, and that's really what happened. Just a good throw and catch by Cam and Frank, but Frank did a good job of getting open. Offensive line gave us great time right there.
It's 6-3, another struggle there with the extra point. We've been talking about that on and off, but it hasn't hurt us yet to this point, and so you're able to kind of keep moving, and then your defense makes another play, and it's a guy who's been making plays all season long and certainly on a real hot streak right now, and that's LaShawn Hollywood Young.
Well,
he said he's Hollywood. That's what he told me to say. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, I got to have a talk with Mr. Young, especially he's a young guy. He's a true sophomore. Like I said, he's got a lot of ability in the passing game, and we just got to keep working on some other things. I'm one of those guys, man. I'm gonna keep coaching you till you leave out the gate. That's just me. That's our coaching staff. I tell our coaches, man, in pregame, I want you coaching these guys up because I don't want them to take bad habits to the game. And that's one of the things with LaShawn Young, and especially like you're playing the same position that your head coach played and your defensive coordinator played, so the expectation is high at that safety position.
Well, he had 4 tackles today, 1 interception, 2 pass breakups. That interception was returned 52 yards for a score. We were able to talk to LaShawn after the game and get his thoughts on his big performance. Yeah, it's the nickname edition here of Inside the Bears Den. We've got LaShawn Hollywood Young here. He just told me that that's the name for him, and so we're going to rock and roll with it. But you've certainly been a star for the Golden Bears. You picked off your 7th pass tonight. That's the high mark in the SIAC. This one you were able to return for a touchdown, 52 yards. Man, how good does it feel to get in the end zone?
It feels great. It's just all season we had this competition between all the players who can get in the end zone first. But obviously Keith Green won it. But I just always wanted to get in the end zone. So yeah.
So talk about that play a little bit. You seem to always be around the ball. You had 4 tackles tonight. You had 2 more pass breakups in that interception. Why are you always around the ball?
It's just being coachable, being where you're supposed to be. Coach Sheldon always tell us, do your job. When you do your job, you're gonna be in the right place.
And now I've talked to a couple of your teammates. You're in the championship game. Even with a week to go, is it hard to say, hey, look, we've got Tuskegee in front of us. We need to worry about that, or are you looking ahead?
No, we're definitely taking Tuskegee seriously, mostly because they picked us for homecoming. They picked us for homecoming. It's disrespectful for real. But we're going to take them seriously, get the job done, and then worry about the championship game.
Big day for LaShawn Young and the Golden Bears defense. Another score for the D in this big 37-3 win over Morehouse. Thanks, LaShawn, for joining us.
Thank you.
And Mr. Young and moniker and all, he still had, like I said, he had a good game. He's been around the ball a lot. That's 7 interceptions. It leads the SIAC, one of the top guys in Division II. At least talk about him being around the football.
He's got his natural, God's given him a lot of ability, a lot of athletic ability. He's a natural ball hawk. He's got great range. He's got good ball skills. And with all of that, he's always going to be able to be in position in the vicinity of the football. And he's just got to keep taking the coaching and keep growing. He's a true sophomore. And he's a kid with a couple years left after this one. I think sky's the limit for a guy like him. I've coached some really good defensive backs at some other places, and I think he's a guy that, eventually if he keeps developing and he stays healthy, he'll have a chance on the next level at some point, I think.
Now, this game, it got away even in the first quarter. It was 20-3 at the end of the first. Young had that touchdown, the pick 6 on the last play of the first quarter. And again, this was not a Morehouse team that necessarily was going to cause a lot of problems, at least from the outside. But, your guys still had to come out and execute. Talk about the way they ended up finishing that corner in kind of a dominant fashion.
Well, our guys, we talked about the fact Morehouse, when I watched them on film, they were similar to us my first year. As far as every game you watch, they're playing hard. I never saw them give up on film. Last week, 21-20 against Fort Valley, end of the first half. So our guys weren't going to come in here and look over these guys or think that they weren't going to come to play. And I feel like that had a lot to do with how we, ended that thing.
Well, again, big lead at the end of the first quarter. It's the same big lead that it stretched out to at halftime. And we're going to talk about a couple other aspects of this ball game in a little bit. But first, after the break, when we come back, we'll be talking with our linebacker coach, Ronald McKinnon, and his outstanding career. You're watching Inside the Bears Den with Coach Sam Shade. The Alabama Department of Health has been a huge benefactor of Miles College athletics. And today, we'd like to present our head coach, Sam Shade, with a check for $5,000. It's a coach's bonus.
Oh, man, that's awesome. That's
Procured
awesome.
for the big win against Alabama State last year. And again, the Alabama Department of Public Health has been huge in making sure that our coaches have been being taken care of, that our athletic department has been being taken care of, led by Fred Watson, who's got a great relationship with the Alabama Department of Public Health. But congratulations, Coach. You earned this. You deserve it. And because of you, we're here just short of a championship game.
Oh, thank you. Really appreciate it. Thank you, Alabama Department of Health, Coach Fred Watson, our AD. Thank you, guys.
Back inside the Bears Den, A.A. Moore, and we'll get back with Coach Shade and talk more about this big Miles victory in a moment. But first, we have a special guest with us, and this is one of the deans of the coaching staff, man. He's been here up, down, and now we're back up again. Coach Ronald McKinnon, and our linebackers coach, thank you for joining us here.
Man, thank you for having me. I'm really enjoying it, and anytime to speak with you is an honor.
Me and Mac been here a long time. He's been here longer than I have, but and there's plenty of stories to tell. But the story that is being crafted this year, that's an outstanding story considering the kind of the roller coaster that we went on. And talk about how this team has rallied since that time when the 1-9 season happened to be at this point where the championship is in sight.
First it starts with having a great coach, having a great coach with Coach Shade, and getting all the coaches to buy in and really selling it to the kids and really getting the kids to motivate and push. And because looking at 1-9 and then to be able to change it or to turn it around, it's unbelievable. And I think it's just dedication to him, the hard work he puts in and hard work the coaches put in, and also the hard work the kids put in.
Well, like I said, you've been here for a while. You got here when Miles was really on the low side of the conference, and you were able to be part of the ride with the previous coaching regime and won 4 championships here, played for 2 more on top of that. And then there was a change and people left. But you didn't leave.
No.
Why'd you stay?
No. Man, I had to stay, man, because it was some unchanged stuff I had to do, saying there's some things that, it's basically like unfinished business. And I feel that, being on Coach Shade coaching staff has really helped and developed me to be the best I can be. And we're just trying to just continue to excel, to continue to lead young men to be men, you know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm really pushing myself.
Well, you've excelled a lot for a long time. First, you come through high school, you go to University of North Alabama at the time, a Division II school, but man, winning championships was something that you did, and not only did you win championships, you were winning individual accolades as well. You're in the College Football Hall of Fame. You've spent 10 years in the NFL. Yeah, just talk about that ride, man. People don't get to live like that.
Well, I just think that it goes with just hard work, such as, it starts in high school, hard work in high school. We was able to win a championship in high school, then being able to be recruited, and the coaching staff at North Alabama was looking for winners, and I believe that they really concentrate on getting winning players from winning teams. And whenever you get winning players from winning teams, they have a habit of winning, and they don't take losing for nothing. So, but then again, the accolades, you got to give that to your teammates. If it wasn't for my D-line or secondary, it wouldn't be a Ron McKinnon. And and then for me, to have the accolades I have, it's unbelievable sometimes. You think about it, first defense player ever doing the Harlan Hill, and no one has did it or broken it yet. So and I'm deeply honored to still be a recipient. But the thing about it though is once you go to the highest level and you push yourself, and you got to push yourself every day, and saying these guys that your players, they strive to want to be like, and so you got to push yourself on and off the field to be a good character person and also a person that know how to lead.
And your coaching career has been, see, I could go on and on about this man because he's done so much, and he's had players win all conference. You coached an All-American here at
Yes.
Miles. And so
Yes.
when you take all of those things that you've done and you got this group of young guys out here striving to kind of make it to the next level, is it a lot easier for you to get that across to them?
Yeah, I think the guys that that I have and that come to work every day, the goal is unlimited, and they push themselves each and every day of working. It's you got to work because we practice early in the morning, so saying the dedication, not missing anything, and coming into work every day. And it's always a goal that you're trying to reach. And, I always try to be goal-oriented to my players, and also I want to be goal-oriented to me. So whatever they want to do, I'm going to try to get them there. So, if you got goals and you want to be the best, I'm going to try to push you to be the best.
Well, he has certainly done that throughout his career. Man, we've been here so long. When we both got here, we were Blackbeards. Now we're Graybeards, and we love it. But we love having Coach Mack here. Ronald McKinnon, join us here inside the Bears Den. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, thank you.
When we come back, more about the Miles game over Morehouse. You're watching Inside the Bears Den with Coach Sam Shade. Back inside the Bears Den with Coach Sam Shade, A.A. Moore, and Coach, we got a chance to talk to Ronald McKinnon, and he's got quite the story. He's got all the accolades, but man, he's not one of those guys who comes in and says, "Hey, look, this is my resume. I need you to respect it." About as humble as they come when it comes to that stuff.
Absolutely. He's been like that since I've known him. You're talking about a guy that played 10 years at middle linebacker in the NFL, has over 1,000 tackles in the NFL, also College Football Hall of Fame member, state of Alabama, Sports Hall of Fame in the state of Alabama, just also Harlan Hill Trophy Award winner as a defensive player, which is the Heisman Trophy of Division II football. So many accolades, and I'm just so glad he's here on this staff. I actually got to know him long before he even got into college coaching. Kind of an interesting story because he was in Birmingham, and I actually lived right down the street from one of my cousins that lived over in that Hoover area. So known Coach a long time, and I was just super excited when he decided to stay on board when I got the job here.
Right, and it's obviously paid big dividends here at Miles, not just prior to you getting here, but it's certainly carried on to this staff. And Coach, you talk about the next man up mentality and guys having to step in. And we talked about what was happening at the receiver position. One of the guys who was able to come in and step up and have a huge game today is Kadarius Buster Griffin. Here's another, we're going to play the moniker game again. And Buster, that's a legitimate name. Everybody's calling him Buster, and then this goes from, but he said his mama liked Kadarius, so we'll take that. But in that, he had a big game. 5 catches, 117 yards, and the touchdown. Right. Especially when you needed someone to kind of step up and take that lead role today. It was him, and I'm sure that made you very happy.
It did, and Buster's one of those seniors that we celebrated today. But nobody's surprised by Buster having success today. Nobody's surprised by it. Number one, he's got a lot of God-given ability, a lot of talent. Unfortunately, since he's been here, he's just been a little up and down health-wise, kind of in and out of the lineup. It just seems like whenever he would get going, something would slow him down. But he's one of those guys. A couple weeks ago, we were able to put over at cornerback when we needed somebody at corner, and that says a lot about the type of ability he has. So, not surprised at all by his success.
And we got a chance to talk to Buster Griffin after the ball game just about that. What was better, offense or defense? Kadarius Griffin, we talked a little earlier this season and talked about having you on this show, and you said, I'm going to come when I do something. And today was that day. 5 catches, 117 yards, and a touchdown. You knew you had this in you, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. It's just for me coming out to practice, working my butt off every day. The coach is pushing me every day. I knew it was going to come sooner or later. I just had to stay patient.
And so now you got a touchdown on offense, and you got one on defense. Which one is better?
Offense, just because I'm an offensive player, but man, wherever I get put on the field, I just got to do what I got to do.
So, and injuries have been a part of what's happened with Miles a little bit this year, but the Golden Bears have been able to persevere, but you've had to play on both sides of the ball. Just kind of talk about your effort, the effort of some of your other teammates who've had to kind of step in different spots just to make sure this team keeps rolling.
Man, like Coach Shade always tell us, opportunity always knocking at the door. So one man go down, the next one got to be ready. It's not a one-man show.
And so as you look at this season, you wrap up a spot in the SIAC championship game. It's got to feel good to be in a position now where you're really one win away from winning a conference championship.
Man, yeah, definitely. After starting off the season 0-2, everybody doubting us and stuff, but nobody in the locker room or neither of the coaches had a doubt in their mind. We still knew what the end goal was, and we on the road to accomplish that. We got one more to go.
Well, we thank Buster Griffin. He had a great day. I know your mama said she likes Kadarius. He's both of them. Kadarius, Buster Griffin. Big game for the Golden Bears. We thank you for joining us.
All right, thank you.
And again, Buster said, hey, look, offense. He said, that's what I'm designed to do. But we were just as happy to have that defensive touchdown that he got, too. So hopefully this is just the beginning of something big here over the last couple of weeks. But, Coach, another thing that you were able to do, you got another one of your guys back, Janero Scott, who had not played in 4 weeks. Last time he played, he was close to 200 yards. Today he comes in, and, man, he didn't get a lot of carries just because of the way the game was going, but he certainly made his presence felt early.
Well, we wanted to get him in there and get him some work, kind of shake the rust off. He probably could have played last week, but we wanted to try to get him as close to 100% as possible. And we felt like that three-headed monster we had going at running back with Leatherwood and Osley and also Rod Thomas, we felt like those guys were doing a really good job. So while Janero wasn't 100%, we decided to hold him out and get him back healthy, and he definitely showed that he was back healthy.
Yeah, and you still were able to use that committee, 177 yards on the ground, and when you've got that kind of ground game going, you don't have to put it in the air near as much, but yet you were still balanced, 211 yards in the air. Talk about that balance and your ability to win games, a couple of different ways.
Well, that's what we want to do. On paper, we want to be 50-50. We want to, run pass, be 50-50. And sometimes we might run it a little bit more and get in that 60-40 range, or just depending on sometimes what the defense gives us, it might be 60% pass, 40% run. But we really want to try to stay balanced. I know we've leaned on the running game a pretty good bit early in the season, but we felt like we needed to get that going, and we know we've got really good receivers outside. I know we're down a couple of them, but when we're healthy at receiver, we feel like we got one of the best receiving groups in this conference.
And with the score getting away like it did, it was 34-3 at the half. You had a couple of guys who were able to make some big plays. You had some receivers get out there who hadn't necessarily gotten a couple of opportunities, but a few opportunities early. And then on the defensive side of the ball, you were able to kind of get some other guys in who had not otherwise had a chance to show. Talk about these kind of games and having the opportunity to put those young guys in to get those reps.
Well, and not just in these type of games where, we kind of get a pretty good lead on guys. But I'll talk to the team about just being ready when opportunity knocks. I'm big on that. Make sure you're ready when opportunity knocks, because you never know when it's going to knock. And you look at our season, there are a lot of guys that have been ready when the opportunity knocked. Guys like Khalil Anglin at quarterback, he was ready. when Gennaro went down, the 3 running backs behind him, those guys were ready. You look at the receiver position, the same thing today. Buster Griffin was ready. And I can keep going defensively. There are guys that when opportunity knocked on the door, they were ready for it. Keith Green's one of those guys. I know he didn't play early, but when opportunity came, he took it and ran with it. Matthew Ufondo, I can just keep going, and I'm proud of those guys for that because I really harp on that, being ready, not feeling like I'm not playing, so I'm not going to work as hard, or I'll just get ready next year. No, you got to be ready when opportunity knocks.
Well, the opportunity is knocked on the SIAC championship game, and this team has been able to walk right through the door and be able to have an opportunity to play for that. It's not the end goal. We understand that, but how proud of you of your team to be able to get to this position, especially considering now this Tuskegee game, while certainly still big, it's not going to weigh as heavily towards you reaching that particular goal.
Well, the thing with us, the SIAC is a really good conference. That's number one. We've got some really good coaches in this conference. We've got some really good players, some outstanding players. So whenever you put yourself in position to be in the championship game of the SIAC, that's huge. And that's huge to us. And our guys are just super excited to be in that position where we know, okay, we're in the championship game. And that's one of our goals, was to get to the championship game. But we also have another game left on our regular season schedule, and that's Tuskegee. And we know we've got to go down there, and it's going to be homecoming for those guys. It's going to be a packed house. 2 years ago, we went down there, and I thought the environment was electric. I thought it's a great environment on homecoming when they have it, and they've got thousands of people there, and you can't get them off the field, all that type of stuff. But, you know, myself, and I think this team, I think we like the stage, man. We like being able to step into that type of arena, into that type of environment, and go compete, because that's what we work for during the season. That's what we put all those hours in the off season, spring practice, in the summer. You do that for games like that. That's what you do it for.
Well, we've been talking SIAC championship, but that is 2 weeks away, and we'll have another opportunity to talk about that as we nail down the opponent. I believe it's going to be Fort Valley, but we'll let the conference tell us exactly who it's going to be. But for now, the next game is Tuskegee. It's at Tuskegee. It's Tuskegee's homecoming. It's at 1 o'clock. They said they got lights. They're going to have to prove that to me. But in any case, Coach, going down there for that, how do you keep your guys focused from looking ahead?
We keep doing what we've been doing each and every week. Every week in practice, Tuesday has a certain theme. Monday's got a theme. Tuesday's got a theme. Wednesday's got a theme. Thursday's got a theme. And they haven't changed. Monday's a big mental day for us. A lot of film, a lot of install, as far as we put the game away from today, Monday morning. Then we come back and we spend an hour on the opponent that we're going to play that week. That's the mental day. And then on Tuesday, it's fast and physical. That's our theme on Tuesday, fast and physical. Start fast, beginning of the week. Then Wednesday, middle of the week, is hump day, as everybody would say. That's the time where in the ball game, we talk about there's going to be some negative things happen, some adversity. So now we got to focus on Wednesday. Middle of the week, we focus. Then on Thursday, it's finish. We talk about finishing on Thursday. That's big with us. You got to finish in the second half. You got to finish in the fourth quarter. And Friday, Saturday, it's have fun. Over everything else, have fun. I've been saying that about this team. This team is having fun playing together. They're having fun. They have fun in practice. They enjoy the process. They're enjoying the journey. So those are things we've been doing all season, and that's what we'll do.
Well, one thing we've been doing all season, at least as of late, is winning. 7 in a row, 7-0 in the conference, 7-2 overall, reaching some heights that have not been reached here in quite some time. And you got to be proud of that, and we're proud of that here at Miles College. Don't forget, we've got the Tuskegee game. We've talked about it 2 or 3 times. 1 o'clock kickoff on Saturday. If you're going, get there early. If not, you might be watching or listening on some alternate opportunities for a little while, because it's going to be really crazy and really tight trying to get in there. So please, if you're a Golden Bear fan and want to root this man and his team on, get there early. So 1 o'clock kickoff with that. And then we've also got basketball coming up. We were able to actually, at halftime of our game this week, celebrate our women's SIAC championship team and also our men's golf team from this 2024 calendar year. And so they got their championship rings, and hopefully we're not too far away from the football team doing the same thing. So be there for this team. If you got any questions about what's going on, make sure you go to milesgoldenbears.com. We'll have all the information concerning tickets, how you can watch the game, how you can keep up with all of the action, and certainly follow us on our social media, on X, on Facebook, on Instagram, Golden Bears of MC. We thank you for joining us here inside the Bears Den, and with Coach Sam Shade, I'm A.A. Moore, and we'll see you next week.